मंगलमय मंगल करण वीतराग विज्ञान नमो ताहि जाते भये अरिहंतादि महान कर मंगल करि हो महा ग्रंथ करन को काज जा जाते मिले समाज सब पावे निज पद राज। आचार्य कल्प पंडित प्रवर टोडरमल जी wrote Moksha Marg Prakashak ji. So we are not just reading this scripture, but at the same time, Pandit Todarmal ji is teaching us how to interpret the meanings of the words given in scriptures and also showing us the way how to comprehend the meaning of the scriptures. So this particular scripture, Moksha Marg Prakashak ji, is very important in the sense we can just observe the kind of thinking that Todarmal ji underwent to write this book. That is all being given in this first chapter. Yesterday, we did this purpose of observing benediction. So the main purpose is to get the things done without any disturbances or hindrances or without any stoppage. So for any auspicious things that we do always first the Mangalacharan. Okay, just because we want this thing to happen without any disturbance, smoothly. And if we are not doing Mangalacharan, like we are always keeping the Panch Parmeshthis as a trustee, we can call that whatever we do under their guidance, according to their instructions. And so Mangalacharan or the benediction is very important. And if we are not doing benediction, that means our intents are, that means our passions are very intense. And if the passions are intense, then you cannot do a noble cause just like writing a scripture. So Todarmal ji has given, Todarmal ji explained everything, that basic idea of doing benediction is, of course, the completion of the book without any hindrances. And the other part is that if the passions are mild, then only this kind of things can happen. So when we are doing benediction, our passions are very mild. If the passions are not mild or it may be intense, then this kind of work is not possible. Then there were some questions that we see people who have not done this kind of benediction, they also get their books completed without any hindrances. And we have also seen that those who have done benediction before starting a book, they also couldn't complete it for some reason or the other. So how can you say that benediction is a cause for completion of the book? So then Todarmal ji himself raised these questions and he further argued and he justified it, that benediction is only for the purpose of getting the books without any hindrances. That was the conclusions. Now, today we are going to move to the next topic, authenticity of this book and scriptural tradition. A small topic, and then of course we'll move on to a word about this book, and then these two topic only we'll be able to cover, and then if time is permitting, then negation of writing false words. This is very important. So let's first begin with authenticity of this book and scriptural tradition. Page number 13. I'll just share. Yeah, I have made you co-host, Aditi ji. Authenticity of this book and scriptural tradition. Jenny, you read.
Sir, my voice is not okay today. Please
But
excuse.
I found it quite okay. You said that during the recording also, but it was quite okay. So if you are having any problem, then you don't do it. Otherwise,
Yes, sir, I'm coughing actually too much.
okay, then you leave it. So Chaitanya Prakash ji, are you there online? He is not there online. Okay. So now Rajeshri ji. Slightly up. Authenticity, page number 13. This one. Make it a larger bit. Yes. Slightly. Yeah. Rajeshri ji, are you there?
Yes, sir, I'm here.
Yeah. Then you read this authenticity of the book, of this book and scriptural tradition.
Yeah, yes, sir. Authenticity of this book and scriptural tradition. After such obeisance, the meaningful book named Moksha Marg Prakashak is being written, therefore proving and establishing the fact that this book is authentic. The old tradition is being followed and explained thus. A, etc. Alphabetical letters are eternal, and not created by anybody. Writing of their shapes is of many types as per one's will, but the spoken alphabets are always found used alike everywhere. Therefore, it is said, Siddho Varna Samanya. The meaning of this
Samamnai.
Samam Nai. The meaning of this is that the group tradition of alphabet is self-existent and created from these alphabets are the words which render true meaning of the objects. The name of their group is the Shruta scripture, so that also is eternal. As Jeev, this is an eternal word. It indicates that Jeev, the soul substance. Thus, there are various words capable of rendering their own true meanings. The group of those words is said to be known as Shruta. Further, as the pearls are self-existent, out of those someone taking a few pearls, someone taking many pearls, produces the same ornaments by arranging them in the way he likes. Similarly, the words are self-existent. Out of those, someone taking a few words, someone taking many words, produces the books by arranging them in the way he likes. Here I am also going to create a book by arranging those words, conveying true meanings as per my knowledge. I am not going to keep in this book the words conveying false meanings imagined by me. Hence, this book is authentic. How does the tradition of those words exist up to the creation of this book? Answer. Since eternity, Kevali Tirthankars are being found. They know each and everything. Hence, they know those words and their meanings also. Further, through Divya Dhvani, revelation of those omniscient Tirthankaras, such discourses are found by virtue of which other jeeves, capable souls, attain the knowledge of words and their meanings according to the Gandhar Devas, head Acharya monks, create the Granths, sacred books in the form of Anga pra, Prakarnaks. And according to those books, Aditi ji, go up. And according to those books, other acharyas prepare various type of books. Some people study them, some narrate them, and some listen to them. Thus, the traditional path continues. Now, in this Bharat Kshetra, presently the Avsarpini Kal is prevailing. During this time, 24 Tirthankars were born. Amongst them, Sri Vardhaman Swami was the last Tirthankar. He, being omniscient, preached Jeeves through an medium of Divya Dhvani, through the instrumentality of the opportunity of listening to it. The Gandhar Acharya named Gautam, having known its subtle and intricate meaning, composed the Anga Prakarnak, sacred books, out of those compassionate feeling. Thereafter, Vardhaman Swami attained salvation. After some time, in this fifth era, three Kevalis, omniscients, were found: Gautam Swami, Sudharma Acharya, Jambu Swami. Thereafter, due to the bad times, occurrence of omniscience stopped, but for some time, Shutra Kevalis, the knowers of the 12 Angs, that is, complete scriptures, were available, and thereafter their availability also came to an end. Further, for some time more, the knowers of the few Angs also were found. Later on, the availability too came to an end. Thereafter, the Acharyas wrote scriptures, sacred books, on the basis of scriptures written by Anga, knowers. In this tradition, more scriptures were written and their prevalence continued. In them also, due to bad times, many books, granths, were destroyed by wicked person, and due to the discontinuance of study, the important books, granths, were lost. But some of the great granths are still found because of feeble knowledge. Their study became difficult. For example, in South India, near Gomat Swami, that Shravanbel Gola, in Mulbadri town near Mangalore, the Dwala, Mahadwala Dwala, Jay Dwala, etc. Granths are existing but are available for adoration, darshan only. However, many other granths which are still available are within the reach of our knowledge for study. Amongst them, too, only a few granths are being studied. Thus, in these bad times, the highest Jaina religion underwent the state of downfall. But through the tradition, even now in Jain Shastras, sacred books of the Jains, the existence of words conveying true meaning is continuing.
Hmm. So you see uh, how this book was written, and uh, how the tradition was followed, and how can we say that the book written is authentic. All this is being discussed here. So the alphabets, A, B, C, like that, as we have in English. Similarly, in Hindi, it is called akar, A, E, like that. Then ka, kha, ga. These are all alphabets in Hindi, and these are all eternal and self-created. Okay, nobody is a creator of this alphabets, and from this alphabets or the letters, the words were formed, and from these words the scriptures were written. So these are all self-made. Nobody has made it like that. Okay, therefore it is said siddho varna samamnaya. The meaning of this is that the group tradition of alphabets is self-existent, and created from those alphabets are the words which render true meaning of the objects. The name of their group is the Srut or scriptures. So from letters or alphabets, the words were formed, and from words, the scriptures were written. So, and that scripture is also eternal. As Jiva, this is an eternal word. It indicates the Jiva, the soul substance. So every word has its own true meaning. Okay. Thus, there are various words capable of rendering their own true meanings. The group of those words is to be known as Srut or the scriptures. Further, as the pearls are self-existent, out of those, someone taking a few pearls, someone taking many pearls, produces the ornaments by arranging them in the way he likes. Similarly, the words are self-existent. Out of those, someone taking a few words, someone taking many words, produces the book by arranging them in a way he likes. Here, I am also going to create a book by arranging those words, conveying true meanings as per my knowledge. I am not going to keep in this book the words conveying false meaning imagined by me. Hence, this book is authentic. So Totalmalji is explaining and proving that he has written this book, and this book, all the words that has been used here in the scriptures depicts true meaning, and there is nothing that is done by his imagination. Rather than it is done according to the tradition that is coming up right now. Okay, so under this tradition only this book has been written, and there is not a word used which has got a false meaning. So this book is authentic. Then Todavalji raised a question: how does the tradition of those words exist up to the creation of this book? So the original source or the beginning of this whole tradition started with Kevli Tirthankara. Through their Divya Dhvani, the omniscient Tirthankara produced that divine sound called Divya Dhvani, and through his sermons, the Gandhar Devas, the head of the Acharya monks, created the Granths. So from Tirthankar's divine voice to Gandhar, and through Gandhar, this sacred books in the form of Anga Prakrinas. So whatever is written by the Gandhars is called Anga Prakrinas. So through Tirthankar's divine sound, the Gandhar wrote the Anga Prakrinas. And according to those books, other acharyas prepare various types of books. And from this Ang Prakrina, the following acharyas in the tradition, they wrote books from this Ang Prakrina. And from those acharyas, another set of acharyas wrote different types of books. So some people study them, some narrate them, some listen to them. Thus the traditional path continues. So this path, this tradition has been continuing from the Tirthankars. Now in this Bharat Kshetra, presently the Ausarpini Kala is prevailing. Okay. This fifth era is of Ausarpini Kal. And after many Utsarpini and Ausarpini, there comes a time called Hunda Ausarpini. And this particular era is that belongs to Hunda Ausarpini. And so the people got liberated in the fifth era also. Then Tirthankars had daughters also. So this is all because of the Hunda Ausarpini Kal. So there are always some exceptions, and these exceptions are particularly for this period because this is a Hunda Ausarpini Kal. It is not a good time, but having said that, at least we have access to this kind of true Dev Shastra Guru and this kind of scriptures. So during this time, 24 Tirthankars were born. Among them, Sri Vardhaman Swami was the last Tirthankar. He, being omniscient, preached jivas, all living beings, through the medium of Divya Dhvani or the divine sound. Through the instrumentality of the opportunity of listening to it, the Gandhava Acharyas named Gautam, having known its subtle and intricate meaning, composed the Anga Prakrinanas out of compassionate feeling. Thereafter, Vardhaman Swami attained salvation. After some time in this fifth era, 3 Kevlis, omniscients, were found: Gautam Gandhar, Sudharamacharya, and Jambu Swami. Thereafter, due to bad times, occurrence of omniscience stopped. But for some time, Shrut Kevlis, the knower of all 12 Angas, that is complete scripture. So after the Tirthankar, the Gandhars were there, and from Gandhar on, the tradition continued. And in this fifth era, there were 3 souls, enlightened souls who got liberated. The first one was Gautam Gandhar, and just the day the Mahavir got liberated, Gautam Gandhar attained omniscient knowledge on the same day. Similarly, Sudharma Acharya attained liberation the same day. His disciple Jambu Swami got omniscient knowledge. And in this way, Jambu Swami was the last person to get liberated. Then that process stopped, and then there were Srut Kevlis. And then the Srut Kevlis also stopped. Then there were acharyas knowing few angas were found. Later on, their availability too came to an end. Thereafter, the acharyas wrote scriptures, sacred books, on the basis of scriptures written by anga knowers. So in this way, the whole tradition has come from the Divya Dhvani, or the divine speech of Tirthankar. In this tradition, more scriptures were written and their prevalence continued. In them also, due to bad times, many books were destroyed by wicked persons, and due to discontinuance of study, the important books were lost. But some of the great granths are still found. Because of feeble knowledge, their study became difficult. For example, in South India, near Gomat Swami, Sravana Belgola in Mudbadri town, near Mangalore, the Dwala, Mahadaval, Dhaval, Mahadaval, and Jai Deval, etc. Granthas are existing, but are available for adoration only. Because if we don't understand the scriptures, how can we derive at the meanings? So these granths are still available, but only for darshan. However, many other granths which are still available are within the reach of our knowledge for study. But amongst them too, only a few granthas are being studied. So we have got quite a number of scriptures which is more than sufficient for us to acquire the right knowledge, and getting to the right knowledge, we can attain the right belief. Okay. And with the right belief, we can begin our journey to liberation. So whatever is available, it's still enough for us to get into the path of liberation and attain the right belief. Thus, in these bad times, the highest Jaina religion underwent the state of downfall. But through this tradition, even now in Jain Shastras, the existence of words conveying true meaning is continuing. So the tradition is continuing, and the book written by Pandit Todarmalji is authentic, fully authentic, and whatever has been written in this book is as per the tradition, and that tradition has started from Tirthankar Kevli. So we should not doubt in any ways about the authenticity of this particular scripture. Now, this was all about the tradition that Todramalji was talking about. Now, a word about this book. So now Todramalji will say how this book came into existence. Darshitji, you read.
Jai Jinendra. A word about this book. Here, in this era, I have now got human birth. In this birth, I developed interest in study of Jain Shastras owing to my past religious impressions and present good luck, due to which after studying in general the useful books on grammar, logic, mathematical science, etc., I have been studying as per my intellect and understanding the following various Shastras, sacred books with their commentaries. Samaysar, Panchastikai, Pravachansar, Niyamsar, Tattvat Sutra, etc. Shastras of Travyanyog, the metaphysics, Gomatsar, Labdisar, Triloksar, Shapnasar, etc. Shastras of Karnanyog etiology. The third one, Purushat Siddhi Upai, Ashtapaud, Atmanushashna, etc., and books describing the code of conduct laid for Shravaks, householders, and Munis, naked possessionless monks. The Shastras of Charnanyog, ethology, and fourth, mythological scriptures containing stories of the brave personages leading to salvation path, etc. Shastras of Pratmanyog. By virtue of that, I too have attained some knowledge of true words with their true meanings. Moreover, in this bad period of downfall, many people are seen possessing knowledge poorer than my feeble knowledge. They too may obtain the knowledge of these words with their meaning. Keeping this point in view, I made up my mind to write this book in spoken language out of compassionate feeling. This is the reason for writing this book. In this book, also the same words with their true meanings are interpreted. The only speciality is that, as in the Prakrit Sanskrit books, the words, bracket sentences, are written in Prakrit Sanskrit. Similarly, here I am writing in country's spoken language, either with apransha or with their exact form, but there is no adulteration in the meaning of the words. Thus, the tradition of those true words exists up to this book also.
So Todramalji, continuing with the tradition, and he's writing that I have now got human birth. Okay, so this is Todramalji is talking about his human life. In this birth, I developed interest in studies of Jain Shastras owing to my past religious impressions. So this religious impressions means Purva Sanskar. We always say that because of our Purva Sanskar, okay, past impressions and present good luck. Bali Honar. So Bali Honar and Purva Sanskar. Because of that, he developed interest in studies of Jain Shastras, due to which, after studying in general the useful books on grammar, logic, mathematical science, etc., I have been studying as per my intellect and understanding the following sacred books and with their commentaries. So now there are books, he has studied these books, all the 4 expositions. The first one is the Dravyan Yoga or the metaphysics, and under Dravyan Yoga he has studied Samaysar, Panchastikai, Pravachansar, Niyamsar, Tattvat Sutra. Then Karnan Yoga, or the exposition on technical matters, or it is called etiology. Gomatsar, Labdisar, Triloksar, Shapnasar. These all, Todramalji was very good at all this. he has written a commentary on this also. A collective commentary on all the 5 scriptures. It is called Samyak Gyan Chandrika. And in that Samyak Gyan Chandrika, in the beginning itself, he has written around 28 questions. And we are going to study those 28 questions in our 6th sem, maybe, Gunasthan Praveshika. At that time, we will be studying those 28 questions. Then Charnan Yog, the conduct of the household and the monk, he has studied Purshat Siddhi Upai, Astapahud, Atmanusashan, and mythological scriptures, the character of great personalities called Prathman Yog. He has studied many biographies of different Tirthankars and the other great personalities. So all the 4 Anuyogs, all the 4 expositions, Todarmalji had studied in detail, and because of that, the kind of knowledge that he possessed, he was able to write this book in such a fascinating manner that not only we are learning this particular book, but also how to study. That also Todarmalji has taught us. By virtue of that, I too have attained some knowledge of true words with their true meanings. Moreover, in this bad period of downfall, many people are seen possessing knowledge poorer than my feeble knowledge. So Todarmalji is considering his knowledge to be weak, feeble knowledge, okay? And he says, still there are people who are having poor knowledge than myself. So for the benefit of those people, and out of compassionate feeling that Todarmalji had, he has made up the mind to write this book in spoken language out of compassionate feeling. So the original scriptures were written in Prakrit and Sanskrit, but Todarmalji has written this in Apabhrans Bhasha, so that the people at large can understand, because that was the language prevailing at that point of time. So he has written this Mokshmarg Prakashak originally in Apabhrans language. And now, of course, we do have this modern Hindi. It is being translated to modern Hindi and from modern Hindi to English. And that is how we are studying this book. This translation is done by Pandit Hemchandraji of Devlali. He was working in BHEL, Bharat Heavy Electricals Limited in Bhopal, and he was an engineer by profession, and he got interested very deeply into Jainism, and then he got so much interested that he left his job, and he never married, and he dedicated his whole life in interpreting this scriptures written by our acharyas, and since his English was also very good, he translated this Mokshmarg Prakashak from Hindi to English. So because of him, we are getting this today, and he did it, say, maybe 25 years ago or more than that. So I think it's 1992. Okay. So you can see 92 means almost 32 years ago, this was translated. So you can see that some of the words being used are no more in use because after 20, 25 years, generation changes. And with that passing of the generation, new generation coming up, the languages also change. So some of the words are not very popular, but nevertheless, they convey the true meanings. Thus, the tradition of those true words exist up to this book also. So Todarmaji is assuring us that whatever I've written in this book is all very authentic, and you need to believe in this. Now, another important topic is coming up, and it is about negation of writing false words. Now, in this tradition that started from Tirthankar Kevli, and through that Gandhars and Gandhars to Acharyas and Acharyas to other Acharyas, and similarly, in this tradition, the Jinwani has come to us. But if someone mixes it up with some false words or false interpretation, then who is going to be responsible for that? So Todemalji has written and given the answer to that question, that even if someone uses wrong words with false meaning, then it will not survive for long. Other people will catch up his mistakes and they will get rectified. So don't worry about the false words. If any false words comes up, then there are people who will correct it and do the needful corrections. So there are not chance of having any kind of false words in this. Aditi ji, can you read? Negation of writing false words.
Negation of writing false words.
Yeah.
Someone asks here, we have known in this way the tradition, but how could we believe that in this tradition only the right words with their exact meanings were written and were not intermingled with false words? Answer. Composing of false words is not possible without intense passion, because due to such false composition by which many jivas may be badly harmed traditionally, and as a consequence of such great injury, the self will have to go to hellish and niggard form of life. Such a great sinful act is possible only on being empowered by the intensest anger, pride, deceit, and greed. Passions. But in Jain religion, such a highly passionate person does not take birth. The first basic preceptor, Tirthankar Kevali, the omniscient, is free from all passions due to complete annihilation of moha, that is delusion and attachment. Next, originators of Shastras are the Gandhars and the Acharyas, who, because of feeble rise of moha karma, have forsaken all sorts of external and internal possessions, hence are extremely dispassionate. Owing to the presence of feeble passion in them, they are found possessed with somewhat proclivity of shubhopyog, that is auspicious thought activity, and no other purpose is found. And if the right faith Shravaks, householders, also compose the Shastras. They too are not highly passioned. If they had intense passion, how could they cultivate interest in Jin Dharma, which is the destroyer of all sorts of passions by all means? Or if someone, owing to the rise of perverse faith, nourishes the passions of other temporal deeds, he may do so, but by going against Jin's preaching. If he nourishes one's passions, he loses Jain identity. Thus, in Jainism, such a highly passioned person is not found, who shall, by composing false words, spoil others as well as his own lot in this birth and the births thereafter. Question. If someone so-called Jaina, under the influence of intense passion, mixes false words in Jain Shastras, and then his tradition continues, what to do in such case? Answer. As someone mixes artificial pearls in the ornament of real pearls, but the shining does not match. So, by examining it, the examiner does not get cheated also, except the ignorant one who gets cheated in the name of real pearls, and his tradition also does not continue. Soon someone starts disapproving the artificial pearls. Similarly, in Jain Shastras, which are a collection of true words, someone may intermix false words, but the purpose shown in the words of Jain Shastras is of uprooting the passions and of reducing worldly affairs. And the false words which are intermixed by that sinful person serve the purpose of nourishing the passions and accomplishing the worldly affairs. Thus, the purpose does not match. Therefore, after examination, the wise person is not cheated. The ignorant alone gets cheated by the name of Jain Shastra, and his tradition also does not continue. Rather, someone immediately contradicts the false words. The other aspect is this, that such highly passioned, the so-called Jains, are found here in this bad time only. Many good regions and periods are also there wherein such people are not found. Therefore, it should be understood that in Jain Shastras, the tradition of false words does not continue. Further, he asks that one may not mix the false words out of passions, but since the scripture writers possess Shayopsham Jnana, therefore, if due to miscomprehension someone mixes wrong words, then his tradition may continue. Answer. The basic scripture composers are Gandhar Devs, that is the chief acharyas. They themselves possess 4 kinds of knowledge and they listen to the omniscience divine speech directly. By virtue of its glory, divineness, the right meaning only is comprehended and accordingly they compose the Shastras. Therefore, how can the false words be entwined in those Shastras? And the other acharyas, etc., who compose the Shastras, they also possess the right knowledge as per their capacity and they compose the Shastras by following the tradition of the original scriptures. Moreover, they do not compose those words which are not known to them, and they compose only those words which are well comprehended by them with the authenticity of right knowledge. So, firstly, by taking such due precautions, the false words are not intermixed. And sometimes, if they themselves have miscomprehended the meaning of words of original text, and also it may appear to be to be right in their knowledge, then there is no escape. But this happens with someone rarely and not with all. Therefore, those who have comprehended it rightly, they, by negating the same, do not allow the wrong tradition to continue. Further, let it be known that the right-faithful Jains do not have misconception about Dev Guru Dharma, etc., and Jeev Ajeev, etc. Tattvas, by the misconception of which the Jeevs become miserable, these are prominently described in Jain Shastras. And there are some deep meanings which may even be misconceived under illusion, but because of faith in omniscience preachings, there will be no spiritual harm to the Jeev. If out of them someone draws a wrong conclusion, about some subtle meanings, even then it is not his great mistake. The same is said in Gomatsar. Samaithi Jivo Uvitham Pavyanam tu Sadahiddi. Sadahaddi Asambhavam Ajano Ajan Mane Guruni Yoga. The right believer believes in the preached true words and sometimes under the instruction of an ignorant teacher believes also in wrong words. Moreover, I also do not possess vast knowledge, but I am very much afraid of going against the omniscience preachings due to the strength of this concept only. I am daring to write this book. So, in this book also I shall be describing the tattvas exactly in the same way in which these are described in the old texts. Or if at some places in the old books the description is unelaborated and deep, I shall describe the same here elaborately. In describing in this manner, I shall remain very careful, but even besides taking all due precaution, if at some place something deeper in meaning gets misinterpreted, it is my humble request to the intellectual savants to correct the same properly. In this way, I have decided to write this Shastra. Now, what types of Shastras are worth reading and listening, and what kind of discourses and listeners of those Shastras should be there? The same is being described here.
So, negation of writing false words. So, if someone puts in false words in between, then also people who are having correct knowledge, they will be able to make it out and they will remove those false words and correct it. So mostly the person in Jainism are basically if they are having mild passion, okay? So composing of false words is not possible without intense passion, because due to such false composition by which many jivas may be badly harmed traditionally, and as a consequence of such a great injury, the self will have to go to hellish and nigoth form of life. Such a great sinful act is possible only on being empowered by the intensest anger, pride, deceit, and greed passions. But in Jain religion, such a highly passionate person does not take birth. The basic preceptor is Tirthankara Kevli. From Tirthankar Kevli to Gandhars, and from Gandhars to Acharyas, and all these had very feeble rise of Monya karma, and they have forsaken all sorts of external and internal possessions, hence are extremely dispassionate, owing to the presence of feeble passion in them, possessed with somewhat proclivity of Shubhupyog. So they have got this auspicious thought activity and no other purpose is found. So this kind of people, if they are writing the scriptures, they will definitely write it in the correct and right perspective. And if the right fated Sravakas, householders, also compose the Shastras, they too are not highly passionate. If they had intense passion, how could they cultivate interest in Jainism, which is the destroyer of all sorts of passions by all means? So we are all also very lucky to get access to this kind of scriptures and knowledge, and just because our passions are now mildest, that's why we are having access to this kind of scriptures. Now, someone owing to the rise of perverse faith nourishes the passions by other temporal deeds. He may do so, but by going against Jina's preachings, maxims, if he nourishes one's passion, he loses Jain identity. So if someone is interpreting wrong meanings or including false interpretation, then he loses his Jain identity. Thus, in Jainism, such a highly passionate person is not found, who shall, by composing false words, spoils others as well as his own lot in this birth and the birth thereafter. Now, again, a question is being raised that if someone so-called Jaina, under the influence of intense passion, mixes false words in Jain Shastras, then his tradition continues. What to do in such case? So Total just given this example that if someone mixes artificial pearls in the ornaments of real pearls, okay, then the signing does not match. So by examining it, the examiner does not get cheated also, except the ignorant one who gets cheated in the name of real pearls, and his tradition also does not continue. Soon someone starts disapproving the artificial pearls. Similarly, in Jain Shastras, which are a collection of true words, someone may intermix false words. But the purpose shown in the words of Jain Shastras is of uprooting the passions and of reducing worldly affairs. So basically, the purpose shown in the Jain Shastras is to reduce the passions. And the false words which are intermixed by that sinful person serve the purpose of nourishing the passions and accomplishing the worldly affairs. Thus, the purpose does not match. Therefore, after examination, the wise person is not cheated. The ignorant people do get cheated, but the tradition does not continue. Someone immediately contradicts these false words, and the tradition of false word will not continue. Then he again asks a question. Todar Malji has put these questions on his own. In this question, he says that the scripture writers are having Sharpsham Gyan. Okay. Therefore, if due to miscomprehension, someone mixes wrong words, then his tradition may continue. So the basic scripture composers are the Gandhardevas, chief acharyas. They themselves possess 4 kinds of knowledge: Mati Gyan, Srut Gyan, Avdi Gyan, and Manaparya Gyan. Sensory knowledge, scriptural knowledge, clairvoyance, and telepathy. And they listen to omniscient's divine speech, Divya Dhvani, directly. By virtue of its glory, divineness, the right meaning only is comprehended, and accordingly they compose the Shastras. Therefore, how can the false words be entwined in those Shastras? And the other acharyas, etc., who compose the Shastra, they also possess the right knowledge as per their capacity, and they compose the Shastras by following the tradition of the original scriptures. So whatever has come to us or up to Pandit Todramalji is all correct, and based on this scripture is being written. So there is no chance of any wrong comprehensions, or the tradition of wrong comprehension will not continue. The right faith Jains do not have misconception about Dev Durugdharm, and also about the fundamental elements like Jeev, Ajiv, Asrav, Ban, Samvan, Nijara, and Moksha. And these are all very clearly defined in Jain Shastras, so there is no ambiguity about that. And then there are some deep meanings, subtle meanings, which may even be misconceived under illusion. But because of faith in omniscient preachings, there will be no spiritual harm to Jiva. So it will be not about the purposeful elements. Of course, the clarity about the purposeful element will be there, but something which is not purposeful, in that there may be some mistakes, but that is not going to make any difference to the spiritual minded of Jiva. So if someone by mistake wrongly puts up something, then the right believer, the Samyak Drishti Jiv, believes in preaching true words, and under the instruction of an ignorant teacher, believes also in wrong words. But those are not purposeful. So even there is a mistake in the understanding, still the purposeful elements is all very clear. There is no mistake in that. And so the ignorant, even if the ignorant teacher is ignorant, still the right believer will have the right belief. Now Todramalji says something about his own. I also do not possess vast knowledge, but I am very much afraid of going against the omniscient preaching. So Todramalji writes about himself that he is very much fearful that he does not go against omniscience preaching. He is very careful about it. Due to the strength of this concept only, I am daring to write this book. So in this book also I shall be describing the tattvas exactly in the same way in which these are described in the old text Shastras. Or if at some places in the old books the description is unelaborated and deep, I shall describe the same here elaborately. In describing in this manner, I shall remain very careful, but even besides taking all due precautions, If at some place something deeper in meaning gets misinterpreted, it is my humble request to the intellectual servants to correct the same properly. So Todormalji also says that I will take utmost care to write all the true meanings in the scriptures. But even if by mistake, if I've done any mistakes, then the intelligent person will correct it, and the tradition, the mistakes will not be repeated. So in this way, I am fully convinced and justified to write these scriptures for the benefit of the weaker people at large. Todormalji decided to write these scriptures. So this was all about this, and the next class we will be reading about this, which are the Shastras worth reading and listening. And then traits of a discourser, and then the traits of a listeners, and then we'll come to the end of the first chapter. So another 2 classes, I think, will take for the first chapter to be completed, another 2 weeks, not 2 classes, but 2 weeks. And then we'll move to the second chapter. Okay, if you have any questions, quickly we can take any questions. Otherwise, we are,
Sir, can I ask something, sir?
yeah.
So seeing the textbooks, I'm very scared. I don't
Why?
know whether I'll be able to answer. So many fat textbooks. It's just so fat.
So many.
I'm really scared. Yeah, 3 books have come. So big they are. I don't know whether I'll be able to write this time on
Which
getting.
Which one you are talking
This
about?
Moksha Marg is also so big.
Huh?
And then there's one other.
So only 2 chapters are there in this syllabus, this semester.
Okay.
Then next semester, another 2 chapters. Then another 2 chapters. So, and then we have one chapters in one semester. So this 9 chapters in this Moksha Marg Prakashak will be continued till the last semester, 10th semester. Okay. So
Not to get scared.
yeah, don't get scared. There is nothing to be getting scared about anything in this whole syllabus. Okay, it's all very easy, and so you don't worry about that. And
Sir, so it's easy for you. For us, so it is.
no, I'm there. No, I'm there. No, and you are always come to ask any questions or doubt you have. Now you have this doubt. So the moment you you related your doubts to me, I gave you the explanation.
Yeah.
So if you have any doubts in your mind, anybody, you should not keep it in your mind. Unnecessarily, it will drag you in your endeavor to understand the scriptures. So you should be very frank in asking questions. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
So long you keep on asking questions, you will not have any difficulties. Okay. Anything else? Okay, so we'll close for the day. Those whose Gandhar Mulyankans are pending are requested to do it at the earliest. Okay. And I think first 4 ones are only yeah, then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So out of 5, two students have already done. So another 3 are left. So I think if you do it in this week, then people will get revisions before starting the class in the next week. So all 3, I think Prinal, Chaitanya Prakash ji, and I think Jinali ji, right? So I think Jinali ji is traveling. So, but other 2 can do it. it will be very nice. Okay. Okay. निज निधि निज में बताई, यह अनंत उपकार है, उसके लिए जिन वाणी माँ को वंदना सत बार है, उसके लिए जिन वाणी माँ को वंदना सत बार। 9 बार नौकार मंत्र गिनेंगे। जय जिनेन्द्र।